The All Smiling Faces podcast is now sponsored by Tyre Spot, the Northeast's leading tyre supplier with branches across the region. Tyre Spot don't just do tyres, they cover everything from servicing to wheel alignment. They can handle every aspect of your car's maintenance. For more information, visit tyrespot.co.uk. Enjoy the episode. Hi everybody, welcome back to the Always Smiling Faces podcast on the Gallowgateshots YouTube channel. It is a week which has saw over 100,000 people go through St. James's Park and the release of the new shirt as well. So I am your host Chris, joined by Decker, Mark and Bestie.
Good evening.
Hello.
As we have done for the last few weeks, any questions, fire them our way and we will go through as many as possible throughout the show. And before we get started, like the video as well. Helps us out massively. So I'm going to come to you, Decker, first of all, because the big talking point I would say this week has been the release of the home shirt, the official home shirt. A lot of rumours. Obviously, we've done the concept kit video, the tier list, a few weeks ago with me, you, Mark, and Scott. Did that as well.
You watched it yet, Bestie?
Of course he has. Had you seen that shirt leaked at all, or even that design leaked? We had heard rumours that was based on the 80s one.
Well, he's not in his head, but I mean, we did a concept kit video, and I've never seen one of them like that. So.
Aye, but to be fair, Scott had made most of them.
Sorry,
I hadn't honestly heard much saying that it was going to be like that. The only thing I remember, I think I vaguely remember seeing perhaps was the collar. That it was similar to the 80s. Can't quite recall the sleeves. Which, of course, thinking if the collar's going to be like that, the sleeves are obviously going to match. So, I mean, that's a bit stupid to say that, but I hadn't actually
Collars
seen...
and cuffs don't always match.
True, yeah. Yep.
Like a dolphin.
Aye.
That's a horrible thought, isn't it?
Aye. Yeah. But no, I hadn't actually seen that. I think everyone, the sponsor was the one hoping that the colour was going to be... Everybody's wanted black and white, haven't we?
We've had light blue sponsors since.
The amount of funny idiots that were doing the rounds where it was black and white. You know what I mean? Like, we almost didn't care what it was as long as it was black and white and didn't insult the shirt. Almost, you know. So, which this one hasn't. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. It's mad because obviously we're going, hey, we've had this blue wonga splashed on the front. We've had blue front and bang a blue star on it though. We'll absolutely love it.
Sure,
Do you know what I mean?
Northern Rock and Blue wasn't really a complaint either, was it? Or?
I know. Yeah. It's mad.
What's your thoughts on it, Bestie?
I think it's really good. I like it
because it's selling like hotcakes.
I like cream cakes. That's a Bobby. I think it's lush, me. It's very, very. I remember reading the footy headlines thing a while ago saying it was going to be based on the 83 to 85 shirt,
something like
and
that.
It's more or less identical.
Yeah.
Obviously, sponsored notwithstanding, I think it's really, really nice. It's like it's just lush, and you see the footy headline stuff because they tend to be the ones that do the mock-ups that are like based on facts or based on like pretty solid sources, and none of them seem to have it quite right. Like some of them had plain sleeves. I was expecting to be a big block on the back because of Champions League stuff, and you wait for regulations that maybe they've changed, maybe they'll never that to start with.
That might come yet though.
Well, it might be, but that
might just be a player.
Well, we think
version.
In 2002-3 in the Champions League they had like just a block on the back. Didn't they? That was only used for the Champions League because you had black numbers on that kit, which didn't really make much sense, but that's by the by.
Didn't one of the Wonga ones? I'm envisaging Jack Colback in a black, plain black back.
We'll have loads.
Had like the little stripes at the bottom.
Between 2000,
with a V.
Between 2007 and 2016, all of them did. The home kits all had a block on the back, be it white or black or a bit there and a bit there, but they all did.
The Virgin Money one was white on the back.
All of them. You think the one go on the got relegated was a plain white back with a blue arse. So I mean, it was only the championship.
Like a baboon.
A dead baboon would have been.
Dan Whitney says all the Puma kids had plain backs on them. I never knew that.
Oh, they did. Yeah.
That's when he's just said that, thinking about it.
No, they didn't.
That's right.
They didn't.
They're not.
Nope. Because the promotion one didn't.
Andy Carroll one.
No, the promotion one.
Was Adidas, that one.
Round.
What about the 5-1?
Yep. Had a big block of white on the back.
All the Puma. Who said what? Sorry, what was it?
All the Puma kids had a block on the back of them.
All the ones from the last Adidas, the one with the black sleeves. that had a big black patch. That was the first one after '97 when the Shield on.
Now, what do you call it one? The thing you wanted, did it?
The
I liked it
promotion,
as well.
the promotion one.
No,
didn't.
the,
125
You're saying the
That
championship
one.
season's the only one that didn't?
125 years. didn't it?
125 years didn't. None, the last one I have a block on the back was the relegation one.
All right, okay.
125
The Rondon
years
one
was
had stripes. That was Puma. The one after that, the Carroll return, that had stripes on the back. Oh, a couple of them, like. And the last Puma one was really thin stripes, but one of them, definitely. But I think it's really, really nice.
The sponsor helps a lot, though.
Sponsor does help a lot. Having it black and white, it looks like it's a placa, big old placa patch again. Like I've not actually seen one of the shirts. I've seen photos of people in, but I've not actually seen it. So that's a bit of a. There's not really a way around that unless you proper sublimate it into fabric, and then people complain.
It's nice the fact that it's black and white. They've tried to make it a bit subtle, but I think it's an awful sponsor. It looked like it. The font, it looks like Comic Sans.
I don't think it's any worse than Fun 88 or Wonga, where aesthetically.
Oh, you don't like the sponsor?
Like just the way it looks.
I
It
think
looks very, I don't know, cartoony.
I think with
Makes
the
it look a bit cheap, but it's still a beautiful, beautiful kit. I do really, really like it. But there's nothing you can do. That is the brand. That is what it looks like, isn't it?
I think the fact they had to put it because it's in black and white. The sponsor, they've had it's almost like a bubble around it.
It's out of line, isn't it?
To make it.
At least they've integrated it. That's the thing.
I don't know what colour seller normally are.
Tends to
It's
be a
black
lot
and
of that. Yeah.
So
From what I've seen.
but yeah, very nice indeed. We had that. They didn't release a keeper kit at the same time. They normally do that.
Yeah. Do you reckon it's been pushed out a little bit like ahead of schedule because of what was happening over the weekend?
Well,
Because that's
maybe
the foot traffic.
Really, I mean, you look at the queues in the club shop over the weekend. I think that's probably a good shout. I hadn't thought of that, but yeah, maybe it has. I mean, it's the time you to release kits anyway. They used to do it. Well, and we talked about this the other week.
Last game of the season,
You play the last game of the season, the next season shirt, like so. I don't know if it's to do with the Fun 88 deal ending. I mean, it ended twice, didn't it? It turns out. I don't know. It would make sense if that was the case because it would think, well, they've run out a lot of sizes, haven't they? Bigger boy sizes.
I went in the day.
It's notable that none of us are wearing them.
Mate, the medium's bloody small. Like
Everything that customers do small.
Castor do tend to do small sizes, like I found. That would do with me.
But there was queues again the day when I went. Certainly for the printing section, anyway. There was a big queue.
There's been so many flashbacks and comparisons to Keegan's team in the 90s with the team and how the football club are at the minute, Mark. It's shown outside the club shop as well now. Just when was the last time you can remember a queue to get in there?
Mine would be Robson days, if I'm being honest. Robson days, I do remember.
Yeah.
Queues for a shirt then.
McLaren.
NTL one, I remember.
I think it's only ever been when there's been players doing like signings and stuff like that there that I can think of where people have queued to get in. Less Decker every day when the sales is on. Queuing, waiting for it to open to see what's the latest bog you can get.
I'm in there more than the staff.
Yeah. It's just there's a real feel-good factor around the club at the minute, isn't it? That's the top and bottom of it. Everybody wants to be part of it. People that would never, ever in a million years buy a shirt are now, buying them. The amount of people I see on like Facebook, Twitter, stuff like that have never mentioned football ever in their life, but suddenly they're posting about Newcastle and stuff like that.
Something to reflect that.
It's what comes with
one of them, isn't he?
Well, no, even before that, like through the season, and it's like the end of the season. Once people are just, have been captured by the fact that we're being successful. It's just muggins like us that have had to, sat through it and put up with all the crap with it. And
I did see a few, honestly, people on Facebook profile pictures at the weekend, like sitting in a bar and that with the Newcastle starting. I could have sworn you were a Sunderland fan. I didn't even like football.
I said to him on Friday when we were going to because I was like, I've literally never seen this many people wearing black and white stripes. There was more people in kits than you see on a match day.
It's a weird thing with Sam Fender. Again, at Glastonbury last year, I was walking around the site there's always a handful of football shirts here and there at Glastonbury. And I went down early last year because I was working for Oxfam, so like Monday, Tuesday, it's all staff. But every now and then I see someone. Wednesday, Thursday, the gates open. The Sunderland shirts, I'm seeing Man U shirts, Brazil, Mexico, whatever. Not a single black and white shirt. I'm thinking, that's really not like what's gone on. But thinking, that's a bit unusual. There'd normally be a few. Friday, the day Sam Fender played at Glastonbury, you couldn't move. There's Newcastle shirts all over the place, and people were proper bought into it. I saw a few people. Well, we'll talk about Sam Fender later on, no doubt. But people are really kind of. Our Taylor put a photo of himself on at the gig at the weekend. I've never seen him buy a new shirt for. Well, he borrowed a shirt off me for Wembley. and I'll have that back, Taylor.
You still not got it back?
No. He's got me England 2002 home shirt. He's like, I thought crazy was it?
Have soup stains on it. That's
Oh,
what I mean.
also now he takes it off.
Today I was
lads, clever.
I was just walking around town today. And someone I was in where was I? I was in Grange Market, and someone went past and went, "One, you know," which is nice. Hello, if you're watching. But I was walking around town, and there was so many black and white shirts. Like, you know what I mean? Just people walking around. Of course, it just came out. Obviously, I understand that. But it's nice though. It's nice because for too long you have walked around the town and no one's been proud to wear the shirt, right? Because it's just been shit, right? Either because some people didn't. Let's say Wonga, for example, and other people are just tarnished by the Asher and just haven't done it. But now I was walking around and everyone had it on.
People spending money at the club store again.
Yeah.
That's
£70 a pop, you know, and there's some people buying two shirts. You know, kids one's 55. It's a lot of money, you know.
I can't wait till next year. Over it's 30 quid. That's what I'm getting mine.
A
lot of money.
25. I'll see you there, bestie.
Same again. Same day a week. Aye.
Do you know what it is though? Like, I'm not sure if you saw this as well. This is this season is the most I've seen fake shirts knocking around as well. Not fake versions of actual Newcastle shirts. People walking about with like concept kits on. It's ridiculous how many like fly Saudi on the front of it and stuff like that.
It's the DHgate effect, isn't it?
Everybody that's gone to Turkey.
That's what it is. Well, people going on holidays to Turkey, ordering them on DHgate, trying to think, that's next season's shirt because it was rumored that was going to be the case, and like the amount of Adidas kits that it's like, how are you? You never seen anybody wearing granny tits though, did you?
I was going to say,
it was really similar to the orange training shirt that one as it goes.
Yeah, it was. It wasn't far from it.
Just different.
But
I've got that orange training shirt, and when I wear mine, it looks like I've got granny tits. Well, it doesn't look like I've got granny tits, but it's the same effect.
I do have a question on the socks, though.
Mm-hmm.
You probably know what this is going to be.
I think there's two different versions of the socks, you know.
Yeah. Well, as far as I was concerned, there were white socks.
Mm-hmm.
But when you go on the site, it's black.
Yeah.
But
so what is it?
The photos that have been released, Bruno's wearing them, the white socks,
Aye.
and one of the lasses as well. They're
all wearing the white socks.
Yeah.
But so I haven't seen them though. To be quite honest, I've just seen black.
It's
weird,
they're
not in stock on the website. There's only the black
But
ones.
they're calling them home
but then in
socks,
the kids have got white socks.
Oh, good. I'm glad it's white socks.
So I think it's just a case of, I mean, let's face it, Castor, they're not going to have stock ready.
About white socks again if they're bad luck, aren't we?
I'm not a fan. Like,
yeah,
white
does it not remind you of the best strip ever?
No.
It does, but we're crap.
Yeah.
But we're in crap at all.
We're
going to UEFA Cup and Bobby Robson. Thank you very much.
We're bottom of the league after like 5-6 games.
I was Hull's fault that. But then Nunna Robson were finished fourth for that top. I was NTL at that point.
Once the socks changed to black.
I watched us play against Roma with Totti and Cafu, and it was a good night.
I'm sure
it's always Man United at Old Trafford as well. We always have to put white socks on.
So Tom Lynch is saying there that in the club shop, the mannequins had the black socks on. So I'm guessing black socks.
It's because the club shop have only got black socks.
Well, weirdly though, they're selling white shorts online as well.
Yeah,
it was the same last season. If you think with the blue kit, they had blue shorts and gold shirts.
That was weird. Gold shirts,
even.
Well, even the third kit, you had white shorts. They wore white shorts as often as wore green shorts, but I don't think they ever had white shorts on sale.
It's just for clashes, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. That's why we've got the We Are the Mags concept shirt as well, just in case.
Yeah, 100%. If the rumours are right for the away and the third shirt, then we're going to have to be wearing that warm-up top or something when we play Brighton again, aren't we?
So the rumours...
it's a green shirt, no?
I didn't like that warm-up one. Like, it doesn't look very nice in person. That not really? As nice as it does on the website.
So the rumours for the away shirt are grey pinstripe ones.
No, that's just...
No, I think it was a mock-up.
No, that's just
a mock-up.
Yeah, that's somebody's just looked at the away kit from the season of the home's based on and put that one together. Which looks
it's a green one.
Absolutely unreal.
Well, Castor would strike gold if they'd done that.
That would be
the grey pinstripe one.
Yeah,
I don't know,
but it's meant to be blue and gold again.
Didn't really not bother with it.
Was it pinstripe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grey one. It had the Newcastle United Football Club, but in pinstripe, going down in pinstripes.
It's lovely, beautiful.
Don't like the War Anfield. Adam Armstrong made his debut in it.
No man, Umbro.
No, I'm saying, but Puma.
Oh, that one. Yes.
Puma did a grey pinstripe version, or silver pinstripe.
Only Puma one.
It's the Wonga one. Wonga, wasn't it?
Adidas one.
It was more silver than grey.
So I was thinking.
It's a silver colour.
Oh, I do. I remember. Sissoko was the model for it.
I believe he was. Yeah,
I think I do remember it, and it was ruined by that absolute massive blue Wonga on the front of it.
Yeah, it's fella, right. That's actually quite a nice shirt, but as I say, as you see, because I had the big daft Wonga on it.
The old Umbro one's beautiful though. The mock-up's based on.
Yeah. But the pinstripes, but Newcastle United Football Club, which I also thought was quite a nice little.
Yeah, it's a nice shirt.
But when you look at that, it does just look very plain grey. You can't see the stripe.
So what colour is the rumoured one then?
Blue and gold again.
Yeah,
and then Saudi for the third.
Green.
But
And I see
if
the
it's going to be
pictures
Full
green,
like.
yeah, if it's going to be
Yeah.
green and white as opposed to white and green, then
it's basically
be
from what I
okay.
can gather last season's Saudi shirt, but
reversed.
Other way around.
predominantly green, which will be okay, Brighton, unless Brighton put it.
Yeah, if it's green as opposed to white again.
But yeah, blue and amber again, which I think the blue and amber shirt last season was lovely.
Yeah, it was
It
nice.
was really nice. That
It's beautiful. It's just surprising to go for the same colours again.
it's unusual to win it. I mean, we'll have a few years of yellow away kits in the late 80s that were yellow and green that were similar. That I still wish I'd bring back. But I don't really. I don't know. I like it. I'll buy them all anyway.
Do you think they'll
not
release
full
like
At the end of the season.
because they did this last year? That was what 8 shirts we had in the end. But do you think they'll bring out I don't know, some sort of Champions League away one, like just randomly sprinkle it in there?
I think I don't think there'll be a champ. I don't think we'll go down the route of a fourth official kit. The only reason we've done it this season was because of the Brighton thing, which I think we could have still got away with winning one of the other ones.
But they never said that was a kit. It was always a warm up T-shirt, wasn't it?
Yeah, match
But
day
the
shirt,
ward, and
yeah.
as it did, once again, it sells out the club shop
Well, then
because
they
the
did-
players are wearing it.
What was the black and
That was the
greyish
members
one?
kit.
Members kit? Yeah.
Members.
So they'll probably do another members kit. Do you reckon?
There'll
There's some
be
description.
another some sort of retro or a members kit sort of
Yeah.
thing. But
Yeah.
you're probably right. They'll probably market it as a Champions League
Yeah.
kit,
I wouldn't be. Yeah, they've already started selling the kit with Champions League patches, and obviously
European kit.
Mint has signed today, and he's got the Champions League kit on his sleeve, hasn't he? So I would be surprised now if they had a kit specifically for the Champions League. But they have done it in the past. Remember the yellow and black one in 2004-05? Patrick Kluivert.
Mhm. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That
yeah.
was just European shirt. They never wore
that
it
was
outside of Europe.
Gold one.
My
It was
favourite
gold,
way
wasn't it?
Yeah, well, kind of.
Yeah.
And then the what was the other one that I had? That was the black and light blue one, 2006.
Yep.
Sibierski,
Yeah.
Palermo, that was just European as well. So that
And then it was the
those-
reverse of that. The light blue and
Yeah.
black was the
Burgundy
third.
one, wasn't it? It was a burgundy,
Burgundy
It was
one
the
as
fifth of the
well.
burgundy
Same
one.
template. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the away kit. So I wouldn't be surprised if they released an away shirt that was
Yeah.
just for Europe because
I'm a-
they make money, don't they? So,
I'm a big fan of the size of the numbers on the back this time.
oh, I love that.
They are huge.
Well, that's the new regulations.
So the ref can see.
Well, it's basically for the commentators,
For
so that
TV
they can
audiences,
see in
yeah.
on the TV audiences.
It's huge. Like
So they've made the numbers bigger, changed the font,
Yeah.
and the names
How
across
big will
the
it be on your
back are different as well.
Like regular size. It'll just look like
Small.
oh,
yeah, they look,
But yeah,
they
they've
look
made
really good.
the name set smaller and now in a straight line as well. As
If you
opposed to
remember,
arched around the
And
back.
I'm talking about months ago, yeah, like a couple of months ago, Scott had put a video in the group, which was basically a YouTube video. It was on for about 10 minutes
yeah.
of how they came to creating the.
That was me.
Was it you? Sorry.
Yes.
It's from the official Premier League.
It was, yeah.
app, wasn't it? In the website.
I've
Yeah.
just done a deck I like live on YouTube.
Scott shared it yesterday
Declan
again.
normally
and
gets
that-
it right when he does a deck outfit.
But yeah, there's a video.
Just 3 days late.
There's a video explaining the process to the fonts and the spacing, the colors and everything,
Yeah.
and how they use different colors on different kits, and they trial different colors on every kit just to see what it looks like.
So yeah, so I wanted to come back to this. So I was in the club shop today, and the ones that have got the mannequins and stuff are all bent.
Yep.
They're all arched, but the players are going to wear straight.
Is that definitely the case?
100%. Yeah.
Oh,
I've
fair-
got
fair
photos
play.
there.
I know I've seen the photos, but it doesn't necessarily mean that
So why
that's
would
how it's
the-
going to be in every case.
That is the official.
So why would there be
No,
arched
no,
then?
that's the
number
official photo, but
So
that
would it
doesn't,
be arched?
that
Why would
doesn't
it
mean
sell
that
them
it's
arched?
not.
Because the club shop have got that basically that bit of wood that
The
they put the kit
template,
on
yeah.
with the template. They haven't got the right.
What are the players?
But
this
they've put a sign up today saying that the more so around the Champions League
Champions
that
League,
they haven't got the official numbers and
So we
name
wait
sets
for,
as yet.
authorization.
yeah.
Yeah. But even then, though, it's only a bit of plastic that they're using it. It's got like the kind of arch and it's got a flat. So theoretically, they should just be able to go out. They are flat.
But in
Or they could
that
just put
arch,
them
it's
on in a
spaced. It's spaced for the letters so that they get them perfectly in the right place.
But
I'd be just. I mean, listen, I'm a 40-year-old bloke, right? I'm not that bothered, but I'm just saying, I'd be a bit disappointed if I paid all that money and then it wasn't what the kids will want to probably have it the way that Bruno might want to have it,
Oh,
right?
totally.
Yeah.
Aye.
And if it is just arch and all of a sudden that one's straight, I'd be a bit.
But
annoyed.
nobody
The club
will-
shop can't
I
even
think
do
that's the
straight.
problem is nobody will actually realise until we get to the start of the season and you get the official photos with the names and numbers. The first game, it'll be, hello, why is that like that?
I
Because
know.
nobody realises at the minute.
If I was a year younger, I think it would. No, honestly, it would annoy me. I'm not going to lie to you. Like I would
You
annoy
could just spin it that you're so loyal you bought it
twice.
straight away.
I get what you're saying, but to be fair, the club shop they do normally put out there that squad numbers haven't been released.
Yeah, that's true.
If we're signing a new player, they would tell you when you get it, this might not be his number.
Yeah, that's true.
Didn't Adam P go and get somebody's number wrong last year?
Gordon. I'm sure he
Was
got
Gordon's
he got-
number
Yeah, I
wrong?
think it was
20, didn't
Gordon,
he?
because you got Botman's right. Botman was right.
It was one
Yeah.
of the players who got it wrong.
I'm sure he got number 20 for Gordon. He wound up being number 8.
So I'm guessing when you buy it, the club guy, by the way, if this is wrong, you're not
Yeah.
going to
Yeah,
get your
they
money
always
back.
do. They always warn that the official names and squad list hasn't.
And
been
I'm not, again, I would
announced.
never buy the shirt with a Champions League badge on with the red numbers. No chance.
'Cause
I
it's
would,
got to be
I
the
would
right
wait.
number.
I would
Yeah.
wait until the font's been released to
Yeah,
match.
because apparently the red isn't one of the official colours to
So-
have on the
we
numbers.
can't have
Hence
that.
why we've got to have the block on the
It is
back.
for Premier League.
Yeah, the Premier League it is.
Oh,
yeah.
right. Is that right? I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
I'd definitely be a
That's why
different
the
font.
reason for the block, apparently.
So it's got to be black or white.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you remember, I don't know why it stands out, but I remember Man United did that where them had like a Champions League edition shirt, which it was the lettering was different and the font was totally different. So I would wait to get a name and number, and if I was going to, I would just wait.
Well,
Plus
most
the
clubs-
numbers will have the Champions League as opposed to
There's
the
a possibility
the lion. at the
they'll have a
bottom.
Champions League,
Are
maybe.
so the Champions League having standard numbers now? Because a load of clubs have got their own
Yeah,
name
they'll
sets
have
for cup away from
Yeah.
like Arsenal. They've got ones that use in the Premier League, like
Jagged
Premier League
East, isn't
standard.
it? Yeah.
But then the
Real
FA
Madrid
Cup,
ones
League
used
Cup.
to do it all the time, didn't they?
Yeah, so is it going to be just a Champions League name and number set? No, it can't be. If it's away for awaiting verification, so it'll not have a ball, it'll just be.
Yeah, it's not, but it'll be different to what we.
Oh,
It'll be
yeah,
a
yeah.
different font and
Yeah,
color
get
what
that.
I've got now, and that's what I mean by I would just wait,
Aye.
and then maybe go back later and go. I'll now
'Cause
have. Bruno
obviously, we
number.
can't use the red because apparently you're not allowed the red numbers in the Champions League, which means you've got to use the white or black, which you can't use on the back of our shirts at the minute because the stripe.
white.
So the contrast is going to be all out of the shop.
Be tough.
On one of the lines, it'd be a nightmare trying to figure that out for people watching the game on TV or commentators, whoever it may be. So I'm not like we said. I think previous years you said, Bessie, that teams in the Champions League they all had different fonts on the back of it, or a lot of them played around with the fonts.
Well, we always did in the 90s, or not the early 90s Champions League campaign we didn't, but the 90s one. More the actually it was the UEFA Cup. Where they Adidas numbers on the back of the shirt in the league, obviously. They've got that
Yeah,
colour.
it had the
But if you look at actually Johnny Blue had
line
the blue
inside of it, didn't it?
sacks for. It had a different, was like a bit bulkier. But it's normally like I say the 2002 Champions League campaign. It was the thicker striped shirt, but there was a block on the back. I think it was a black block with a white number. Similar to what they had when the Essex kit was in the Premier League, 92, 93. So 93, sorry. So I'd imagine if they're going to have to go with a black or a white number, can it not be like gold or blue or orange? Or
I think it's white and black.
It's gotta be those, right?
Yeah, I'm sure it is. Do you know who would be a great one? Look at Juventus.
Yeah,
Because they're the only one that I can think of the top of my head that are playing black and white stripes.
they've normally got a block on the back of their shirt.
That's what I mean.
They've always got they've got a thick stripe or a.
Have they
Or
got it
plain
in
black,
the league as well, though?
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, their kits incorporated like ours did until 2016.
Do you know what it is? If right, so obviously we've got Champions League this season, Mark. Would you get a player's name?
sorry, what did you say?
We have Champions League this season. You would have to get a shirt with a player's name on the back of it just for that, wouldn't you?
100%. like I say, I'm a 39-year-old man like Decker, so
older
I'll
than
be
that,
You're 39.
Hang on a second.
not as old as Bestie, but yeah, you've got to have the. Like I would never
Yeah,
get.
but that
I
seems
would
to be
never
frowned
get
upon,
the
though.
Premier League badges on
Nah,
the sleeves, but 100%.
Did you get the
Champions League's
Coca-Cola
going on
Championship
there.
I was
ones?
just about to say that.
No,
The
I wish I had of.
I did.
I wish I had of because it
All the
looks
Loved them.
looks
Yeah, no,
unreal.
I think it's great. Yeah. So why is there a massive problem with getting a name and number on your back at a certain age? Why is that a big concern of everybody's?
Because it's the thing that children
Is
do.
it just funny to have a
Do you
go
know what
at
it is? It
think
doesn't
you-
bother me getting a player on the back. It's when you get your own name on the back.
No,
I don't like.
well, there's a few.
Like
thi-
Growler 69 and stuff
so,
like
yeah,
that.
I don't like things
Milf
like that. Yeah, exactly. Of course, I don't like things like that.
Well, why did you get it done?
I don't see what the problem is with the name. It's just funny.
it doesn't bother me.
Every time I see
It's
someone
sex
on
pest
Twitter,
behaviour,
there'll be
isn't
people
it?
in the comments going, "Oh, look, when he's
I think
55, he's
it's,
got a number."
I think
What's
it's
the problem?
regarded as being a bit weird. It's something like kind of younger because it didn't happen at all when we were kids. Like you couldn't get it. We didn't have names and numbers until 92 in the Premier League.
Yeah.
93 maybe actually. So it just wasn't something that our generation or slightly older or any before us would have even had the kind of gumption to do. Younger kids now maybe more so, but then like me and you, Dick, in particular, I know we watch a lot of American sports. And you buy like you've got loads of Patriot shirts, like Steelers man. you get a shirt and they're pretty much all pre-come.
You can't buy them. Really.
Basketball's the
So
same,
I
innit?
think we've become maybe a bit more conditioned to it, where you get a shirt and it's
Did
got a
we
bit
did
number.
we sit here and have a debate a long time ago about getting a name and number of someone that was perhaps younger than what you were? Or something?
Yeah, that, I think we'll have
Vaguely
done.
remembers that.
That's coming more the case now. We're getting older lads.
No, exactly.
Oh, there's one left. For me, Colaccini was last player. That was
Yeah, and
yeah,
I
older than
think
me,
that
played
was why we
Newcastle.
were saying you shouldn't
Matt
get one because
Wallenthorpe.
it's younger than what you are, which again doesn't.
Well, last season, and it was only because it was cheap, was the first time I'd got
Bruno.
I got a Bruno
I
shirt.
got it, aye.
Just because
Oh,
you
the
got
blue
free, you got a free name. It was the blue
Yeah.
one. You got free name and number on.
It was 35 quid.
But before
Printed.
that,
Bruno on the back.
I'm going it's probably Shearer, like
Yeah.
years and years ago before
Actually, I
that.
think it was. I tell you what, it was when a player younger than you, because I nearly got a one with Dan Burn on the back of 33, and I think we sat here and he goes, I think 10 years younger than you. What am I years? But I didn't because it was. I just didn't. That's
So would you this time then for the Champions League edition? Would you get a name and number, or you just?
I wouldn't. I wouldn't not get one. I wouldn't not get one because I think it'd be like pathetic or like a bit beneath us. You know what I mean? I'd be too old for it. But
Just not your preference.
Well, think your NTL shirts.
A bit heavy.
You've got the Champions League badges on, Shearer 9 on the back,
Yeah.
because it evokes the memory of that. So looking back, like if like you'd want to have one and think, but the problem is you're going to get it at the start of the season if you buy it now, not knowing
I'm going to get
what the season's going to do it.
If Madison gets number 14, I might think about it.
If you had to pick now,
I don't know, get Maxi on the back, you'd be gone.
if you had to pick now, which player would you pick?
Oh, wow.
I'm going Isaac, you know.
I think I'd go Big Joe.
Shout like guy.
Joe Linton or Maxi for me, but it'll be Maxi, of course, has to be.
I love Big Joe. It couldn't be someone with 3 or 4 letters.
Why don't you
for
get
me.
Dan Burn on the back of yours?
Would you get How 1?
I'll get a Pope 22.
On the home shirt.
Well,
There's one for you. And I think Pope will get the number 1 shirt next
I
season.
think he likes having a higher squad number, doesn't he? I believe he's never. Has he ever been number 1? I know he's like first choice keeper elsewhere, but I don't know if he's ever been number 1.
I suppose a lot depends on the future of the Bradker as well.
Do
Like,
you know what would look quite nice? If there's a block on the back, just a number. Not the name.
I
just
don't know.
a number.
It would look a little bit JJB Soccer Dome, I think. You know, you get a team with and they get like a
Or retro.
Or retro, yeah.
nah, not for me.
Not yours.
Not for me. Not for me. Thanks. But nah.
So you were going Joe Linton, were you?
But I like what they both did. So Dan Burn.
That's a shout like
it's hard to have a Dan Burn one as well. I love him.
Leon Best.
What's your thoughts
just
on
because
the?
it's similar to yours.
It's not similar, it's the same.
It's actually
it's literally
Well,
my
this-
name.
I've just had a flashback now to Friday night. It's in James. I'm having a little wee, and out the corner of my eye, I turned and saw the back of a shirt.
Which I
Left. Baba Yaro on the back of
Oh
it.
wow.
I was like, I went, gee, like the lad that's having. I was like, bloody hell, that's a niche football shirt.
He was number
Name on the
33
back,
as well, wasn't he?
33, Baba
Yeah.
Yaro on the back. I was like, wow.
So do you know the Champions League badge on the side?
Yeah.
So what's your thoughts with having the foundation below it? Would you prefer the foundation not to be there and just the logo?
I
Or
quite like it.
are you happy with the
Foundation for
foundation
kids,
being
isn't
there?
it?
I'd rather it was just the logo, but it comes hand in hand. You've got to have the pair of them.
Yeah,
I know what you mean, like, but yeah, it's part of it now.
it's part of it now. Yeah,
It's like the Premier League.
that's me
badge,
just
but
being
the-
overly stupid about detail. And
Yeah.
that, you know.
I like how it's got the little balls inside the big ball.
Yes,
Nice
I do like
touch.
that. Yeah, that's really nice. Yeah.
Just because we mentioned Joe Linton as well, I'm not sure if you would have seen this, but Bruno put a video on his Instagram today, and it is recording Joe Linton leaving his hotel room in his Brazilian training gear.
Oh man,
It's absolutely lush. I don't know what he's saying because obviously in Portuguese, but I'm guessing he's saying, look at him in his Brazilian kit, which is absolutely lush.
is that
like-
these stories? Is it?
It was on his stories. Have a look now.
Do you mind if I?
I have a look. It's classic. The
love Joe
grin
Linton,
on Joe Linton's face, man. It's class.
Oh man, I'm buzzing.
He's buzzing, and that like it's what he's dreamt of his whole life is to play for Brazil, and it's happened. He's representing his country. He's had an amazing season for us. He's going to be on top of the world right now, isn't he?
Fully deserved as well.
Yeah,
Though.
he's been unreal, absolutely unreal.
I can't wait to see him like in the kit though.
I hope he plays.
You look lush.
Yeah, just give him a few minutes.
Is it a qualifier? Or is it just where the hell's
He found it.
Now I've got to search for him. He's not.
I'm sure it was on his stories.
Don't.
You'll have to scroll through about 5 hours worth of his wedding first, like.
There's loads.
I'm sorry, everybody. This is like horrendous for audio, but we'll have a quick look. Just go right way through.
No, I've got a tracksuit top.
It's quite weird. Bruno getting married at the
There it is.
getting married on top of the hill, isn't
You
it?
not seen
At
it,
the
No, I've just seen the one
Statue of
when
Christ.
he's introducing to the actual squad. Oh, aye.
look at his face, man. He's proper got a chuff on, hasn't he?
A big style, aye.
How many weddings did Bruno have? Because the comment from Jules that
Aye.
says Bruno seems to have 3 weddings since he's been off.
Yeah, I know. His ankle looked all right. He was doing some fancy dancing with
He was hobbling at one point, mind.
Was he?
He was hobbling at one point.
I seen some. Did you see the someone like dotted it and had like pure like MC music?
Aye.
It was funny.
I've seen one that was.
There's even guy behind him looks like he's really doing it.
How much do you reckon it cost him to rent Christ the Redeemer?
Yeah, yeah,
That must have been some.
yeah. He's not struggling though, is he?
He's not, but
He's not.
Jesus, that must have been pricey.
Unless he's doing it for now.
Left a scaffolding up on the side as well. I noticed.
I think he was going to take that down, especially.
Joe,
Pay extra. Take it down.
Tackle on it, man. Let's see if there's any questions first of all before we go on to the final talking point. Obviously, we'll still go for another half an hour. So if anybody's got any questions, send them in. Because we've been talking about kits and names on the back of them, Jules says, questions for us. What funny names would you lads give each other to put on the back of the shirts?
Give each other.
So let's say it's
God,
stag
that's
do,
an open
right?
door, isn't it?
Stag do, but we've got to be within a
His-
certain
his
thing.
is-
We
it-
can't. What's his?
Worsty.
Worsty.
It's
You
got
would
to
have
be,
worsty
innit?
on yours.
It's just got to be.
I would have joggers on yours.
Joggers.
I'd have some
Because they're
maximum.
tight joggers.
I would have said maximum.
Maxi on what?
Maxi one.
The best.
I don't know what I don't know what would I have.
I don't know. Honestly, kind of things. Anything offensive for Decker?
I know.
Or
I
me?
don't know.
Or like
Just look at the comments. I'm sure they'll find
know.
something offensive.
You'd have to have Grandad 69 on the back of yours.
What, like 30 grand? Like,
It's got to be
something
worth
like
it.
There's a few shouts straight away. Everybody agreed that he should have Max on the back of his.
It's never happening. Not a chance.
Right,
You
next
hate
one.
him doing it. You absolutely hate him doing it.
So this one is from Blue Rhythm Boy. That says, "What's with the pylon about Castor's badge on the new shirt? It's been like that for a few years, and is why many clubs are moving towards round badges that are easier to print.
But
The shirt's class.
that's the whole point. It's been like that for a couple of years.
It's
So
been like that for
surely,
more than a couple of years.
so surely you should be improving your quality control.
the embroidered.
Yeah.
Doesn't bother me. Even the last ones that
That's
was
not bad. I'm looking at the yellow kit from the championship season. That's not too bad.
It's better than that is better than what Castoro are doing now, which is a little bit, but it wouldn't have changed that. I mean,
Come on. This one's been made in bloody
That's not even a real
DHgate,
shot, and that's
and
perfect.
It's perfect.
it's not
Absolutely perfect.
DHgate score draw.
Well, you know, I mean,
Well,
it's not even a
there
real
you are.
shirt, though, is it?
It's
I think it's just it doesn't bother us. Don't get us wrong. I mean, having said that, there's one I seen the day was UTTED.
Yeah,
There's a few of them.
UTED wasn't the best, like, but you're paying 70 quid, like, come on, lads,
Aye.
get together. You know what I mean? Just I want the name of a club spelled right on it.
It's do you know what it is? It is a lot that when I go to the club shop now, if the last shirt I bought, which was the home shirt, was when I was with you, Bestie.
Yeah.
I'm sat for 5 minutes going through the
Aye,
rack,
I'll do the
100%.
trying
same.
to find
Yeah.
the best one.
you're looking at the badges.
When I was getting mine for last season, I got goal 3 in the end. I wanted ones that the logo, the badge not too bad. I didn't want noon on the sleeve because it's big.
It's like folds.
So I kind of thought, right, it took us ages to get them, but they weren't too bad. But I didn't mind the patch that they had previously, you know. Or the ones that Puma had. The clubs have got patches now. I think we're the only ones that have still got the embroidered.
Yeah, well, the players
One
have
back to them,
a
yeah.
the
Yeah.
players
Yeah.
have a patch, and
Yeah, they
obviously
do,
that's perfectly written. The Newcastle United is perfect on them ones.
Yeah.
Obviously we're embroidered, but we've banged on like an embroidered badge, right? We've always said,
And that's why
"Oh,
they did it.
yeah,
They
I
did
get
it because the
I get it.
fans demanded we have an embroidered badge.
Yeah, I get
Even though they
Did
were
the
warned
fans
that.
demand it? Was a bit.
I think it was
lads,
more of a
there's
request.
Some cranks online going on about all kind of stuff. People complain about anything.
It's the same. You've got to have an embroidered badge. It's got to have a blue star or a brown nail on the front. It's got to be made by Adidas.
I was reading a thing
Can-
a while ago. It was, someone involved in manufacturing and talking about the Crystal Palace shirt specifically. He was saying like the amount of damage that an embroidery does to a shirt as opposed to having a patch on
Yeah.
it. It's like it's the totally different supports the material
Yeah,
more,
yeah.
wash
Yeah.
it more. And it's like it's a really bad to have it, but
And that's why the badges are like that, because
Mm.
it's done by a machine, and you need to keep the material really, really tight so it does it
yeah,
nicely. But
Tight.
I mean, there's some there's some shock. I've seen one where like you've got new, all of the same, and then this tiny little capital A.
Really small.
It's
A.
like half the
Really?
size of
Yeah,
the rest of it, and then it
no,
goes
no,
back
no,
to
no.
the S. The most common ones where,
You
and I know it isn't two T's. It's the
It's a
top
thread
of the
that's
N,
carried. Yeah.
and then it's a straight I by itself, but it looks like the I's got a line across the top
Yeah.
and not the bottom, so that it looks like two T's. And, but
So
I
do you
think
know?
you should stop talking about eyes just in case you get carried
I
away.
know.
Settle down.
Do
Take the
that
video
again.
down before.
Do you know obviously how before last season there was a lot of people getting the shirt and it didn't have the sponsor on the front,
Yeah.
if you remember. And obviously we always go, oh God, it looks so much better. I know your answer to this already, but would you be happier if it come this time without the sponsor, or would you be a bit annoyed that I didn't have it on this time?
If I could buy one legitimately without a sponsor, I think I'll do it every time. There's
Okay.
not many, even there's not many sponsors that I think would make a shirt look better. I think the brown ale ones and the blue star are the obvious ones for us. But there's not really, if I had the choice, pay the same amount, but you get one without a sponsor, I'd do it every time. No bother.
Do you know which one does look nice on most of our kits? The NTL one, the green and purple one.
Yeah.
It normally looks nice when that gets
It
photoshopped
does.
on.
I had no problem with that sponsor. Yeah. Well, I was annoyed Brownie had gone because
to be fair, I think if the seller,
my favourite shirt anyway.
instead of being black and white, was maybe blue and white, it would look nice.
Don't be ridiculous. That's why I think this time with it being black and white, I actually think it complements the shirt so well. However, I give what you're saying. The fonts could have been a bit better, maybe, but I honestly can't really.
It just looks a bit pro evil.
Do you know? I think get used to it because it's a long-term deal.
I know.
The thing that surprises a little bit, and maybe you've all probably seen this and would have known straight away, but when I seen it in the flesh was, do you know the trim that's within the collar?
Yeah.
That's grey, not
is
white.
it?
And that did surprise us because I thought that was a white trim with inside the black.
I've not
But
actually seen it yet.
It's just a grey. It's not, but it's grey. It's grey. It's
The
not.
sure wasn't just the lighting in the shop.
100%. It's not white. It's definitely not white. Like, unless my eyes were.
I think you
affected by
need
it.
to
No,
get your.
I-
Had you been out in the sun a lot
I've
before
seen-
you
I've
came
seen it-
inside
I've
into
seen
the
it
dark?
4 times just today.
Been out in the sun.
I've been in the same place.
It's definitely grey.
Yeah, it's
grey.
not as white. That's not as white
Yeah.
as the.
That's right,
Yeah.
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 And I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it surprises. That's all I'm saying.
It's not just because it's like a more
Because the
elastic thing. I don't know.
the 84 version with the blue star on is white
Yeah.
because I've got it. It's white.
It happens
got
with
mine,
the 95-96 kit. The collar and the bit with going on the buttons always goes a different color.
Yellow.
The rest of
Yeah,
it.
washes,
yellowy.
washes, that's just
I always found the buttons were the one like the
Yellow?
buttons used to go yellow quickly.
Yeah.
So you had a white, sometimes a pristine white collar would get yellow buttons, but
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, that was the one thing that
You used
surprised. See,
Daz.
like the shield shirt here, the 98 one here. See the white trim, that was white. It was as
Yeah.
white as what the stripes were. That's what I thought that was. So when I seen that, I was like, oh, it's great. I mean, it doesn't bother us. I'm just saying it. That did surprise us.
It's a lovely looking shirt. Like,
I could talk about the kit ridiculous. I apologize. I just
wish we
see
could
these
watch
little
the
things. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what colour the sponsors will be on the second and third kits.
I think they'll accommodate like Funny It did, where it'll match, which
it
I
in.
think's great. Yeah.
we've said a few times on here, Funny 88 were really good for that. And it
They were.
always looked better.
Always. Well, the one, case in point, the one we just talked about, the blue and gold one or the yellow one, whatever you want to say, the one we just had last season.
Yeah.
That looks absolutely brilliant on the front.
Yeah, it does.
It really does. And that's where I think if Funny It had have done what Sellers done, I don't think anyone would have had an issue. Honestly, I don't, because it's black and white.
Yeah,
I really don't think people had a problem because no one had a problem with it on any other shirt.
Mm.
Everyone was fine with it. It was just because it was so
Bold.
and also in fairness, I did think this on the last home one. As much as I like the last home one, actually, it was very plasticky. I remember because I actually liked the shirt, and when I went and seen it in the shop, I was like, oh, that just I don't know, I just love very
And
plastic.
the
I still think
outline
this
was
one
like
is
a
pretty
yellowy
plastic.
colour.
Yellowy,
like-
it wasn't even white,
Yeah,
was
it
it?
like
Yeah,
cream.
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So Danny also just he's just coming in now. He says, sick of the red name and numbers. I'd like to go back to blue like the Northern Rock days. I'm not bothered about the red because the red's a flashback to the retro
Yeah,
days.
I like the red.
I love the red. Man. Like I was over them. I think it's great.
I'm
You're wrong, Danny. That's what I'm saying.
But it's black, white, red, yellow, and blue. I want to say is the
I can sing
the official colours.
Maxi
Is he looking for something?
one.
White, red, yellow, black, white, blue.
The Man City get gold for winning the league, and Darryl
Yes.
said that.
Yeah.
That's nice for them.
It's a nice little touch in it.
That looked lovely on Leicester's, like to be fair, when them won it.
Gold. Yeah.
Can you believe them have gone down now from winning the league not so long ago?
The cup as well. When the cup
Amazing.
won the cup 2 seasons ago, they were like Leicester, like a model club. then it doesn't take much for
It doesn't
fall away.
It
Like
doesn't.
Just like we had planned this, and Newcastle United have been heavily linked with James Madison
once
again. So
Yeah.
we'll jump straight into that one.
Mhm.
Decker,
Mhm.
it's a rumor that's not going away. It didn't go away last January, didn't go away in the summer, and it is back again now. Will this ever happen?
I do, yeah. I think this time it will. I actually do. And I think you cannot deny that the quality he's got. He is a very, very good player. Like,
Where does he fit in?
well, that's what I'm struggling with a little bit. I am a little bit of where he'll fit in. Listen. I think signing him is not a problem. I think the quality he's got, what he can bring to the squad, is amazing. I was going to ask you in regards to, have you got any concerns attitude-wise at all?
Not with Madison, nah.
No?
Nah.
So on the lead up to our game, when we played him, he didn't start the game. Bear in mind, that was a crunch game, right? Now, obviously, some people were saying it was tactically because...
He'd 100% been dropped for the game before.
Yeah.
100%.
He had been dropped because of attitude problems. Now, of course, though, that's, listen, they're in the relegation zone. It's a totally different kettle of fish to what he'll be with us. And I'm not saying I've got a problem here, attitude-wise. I'm just saying, was it a worry of yours?
was it attitude problems? Because Harvey Barnes didn't start either.
Well, I had read it quite a bit when I got home that night, saying like from local podcasters from Leicester and stuff. I was saying
it was based on his performance in the game before that. He wasn't putting his foot in on tackles, pulling out of stuff, not chasing things. I think it was. I don't know if they maybe conceded a goal and the player just went straight past him and he made no attempt to get at him or something like that. So.
But then you could throw that back and say, let's look at the spat Gordon had with Howe. Remember that time on the sideline?
Yeah.
That looked in that moment a bad attitude, right? But it's football, man. Every player has situations like that where they do something wrong or whatever. I just think where he fits in, I don't know. I'm not so sure because personally speaking, this is just my opinion. There's a lot of people saying he'll play out wide. I've seen loads of people today with formation. Oh, he'll fit in here. I love a player with a lot of pace out wide. You know what I mean? I like the idea of what we have already. I see Madison more of the right of the three that would have in midfield, but then that's kind of what Willock is. Do you know what I mean? And if I'm obsessed about getting a number 6 in to let Bruno play higher, okay, so who else? You know what I mean? I want Joe to be in there. I want Willock to be in there.
It doesn't seem like that midfield position that we need to heavily invest in, especially the prices of 60, 65 million, which are being quoted.
Apparently, so yeah.
It was rumored 50 because I think originally it was looking like 70, then it's went to 60. Now they're talking 50, 55. So of course it's dropping.
He's got his contract, is it?
Yeah.
We've also been linked tonight with the German international midfielder as well.
We'll have,
which
15 million
again is another
him then, won't
you will, yeah.
Felix, absolutely.
A huge fan of the Bundesliga.
So again,
he definitely thought it was him from Chelsea when he first seen the name. Didn't
what was a cat?
No, he was Man City. He played for. Was it Man City for?
What do you think
of? If I remember right.
Well, Madison. So I remember back in January we discussed this, didn't we? Because I was saying I actually remember this. We were sitting here chatting away, listening to, and I was saying the Champions League, and you were going maybe not, and I was saying what happens if we sign the likes of Madison. Could we then do it and stuff? But you have never really been sold on Madison, have you? Really?
I just think it's this season's Paquetá. It's we were linked with him massively in January. It didn't happen. We've been linked with him massively all through. Yeah, it's rinse and repeat with that.
But let's say it is though, and let's say you come in the door. Would you be happy?
He's without doubt a very, very good player.
Currently in the England setup.
He's the quality is there, but like you say, unless you're going to change the formation or how we play to get him into the team. But you're seeing the same with Gordon. When Gordon's come in, he hasn't got a natural home in the team, has he?
We've just paid £40 million for Gordon, and £40 million, that's buying us a squad player really now from where we need to go. Or we're not just building a squad here.
Well, yeah, but from an FFP point of view, we can't really afford just to keep
building a squad, but Madison would be a starter.
I think
Madison's not leaving Leicester at the time for us.
It's incredibly snobbery from snobbery. Is that the word? Snobbish? I don't know. Anyway.
Snobbish. Yeah.
Snobbish. That's a better word. Of me to say I don't want to play out of his quality. That sounds ridiculous for me to sit and say that. And I'm not saying I don't want him. Absolutely. I think he's a fantastic player. I don't know why I'm not sitting here going, get him, it'd be amazing. And I'm not feeling that way. I don't know why I'm not sitting here saying that. I haven't got any evidence to say otherwise. I mean, he's played in a very poor Leicester side, and I know his goals and assists were incredibly high. He's got an unbelievable set piece, as Trippier has as well, of course, so would have great options there. Abundance of quality in the England setup. For me, it's no-brainer.
Yeah.
But I'm still not sitting here going, "Oh my God, get him! Let's get him." He's
On
amazing." I don't know why I'm
paper,
not.
it's massive signing.
It is, isn't it?
It
I've
is,
got
but it's
full trust in Eddie Howe, Dan Ashworth, that they know how he's going to fit. Where this is hypothetical because we don't know if he's going to sign or not now. But let's say he does sign. I've got every faith that Howe, Ashworth, they know exactly where he's going to be, what his plan is for the team, the squad. If he doesn't fit perfectly now, if you put him in the first team ahead of Murphy, I know he's not naturally he can't play well. Not necessarily.
It's not his favourite.
You're not losing Murphy. I don't think you lose anything.
But why wouldn't you just buy a player that is a right winger?
Do you not think the chemistry of our right hand side? Because I think the right hand side has been one more successful side.
Yeah.
Throughout the entire season, and the link up play that Almiron has and Murphy has with Trippier, I feel Maddison would be honestly like a completely different fold. That doesn't mean it wouldn't work, by the way. Howe's a lot cleverer than me to make it work. It just, I don't know. It just doesn't.
I thought only if he plays there. As I say, I've got every faith that Eddie. It's not like when we signed Joe Linton and watched him 24 times and then played him in the wrong position, didn't know how to use him.
Yeah.
I think that I'm convinced. I'm as certain can be that they know exactly what they want to do with him.
Yeah. The issue is that we've sat around here before and said that we need to buy a more defensive-minded midfielder, which will allow Bruno to push up the field. I think bringing Maddison in I don't think we're going to bring in two midfielders if we're looking at a centre of midfield. Okay, I don't think we will do it. But if you're bringing Maddison, once again, that's going to stop Bruno from going further up the field. Isn't
it? That was only my take on it, and I'm not. What I will say is that they will obviously link with Felix from what team is it again? It's in Germany, isn't it? Anyway, sorry, I forgot. Doesn't matter. Which put £15 million, I reckon. So I just pulled up in the car and I was surprised. Let's be very clear, right? We do still need help in that role because Bruno's been doing it with one leg or one foot certainly. So you still need to have cover there, but. I agree. The point which you've just sort of alluded to is what I said is that if you're going to sign that much money for Maddison, I don't know. Bruno can't really move up the field.
No, and on paper and looking at those positions from Leicester, Tielemans is probably the one that you need, but he comes then with the attitude issues, the down and tool and everything like that. So I think from a personal fit, he's not right.
Haven't them signed Oxlade-Chamberlain and Harvey Barnes?
Not yet, but I don't think he's linked with them.
I was just going to say there's someone in the chat said that Felix and Metro, he's at Wolfsburg. He's more of a Joe Willock type of player, but it was Mark who said it, so I'm not too sure.
To be fair, he's more like that. He's like that kind of more attacking position, but he's probably a mix between Willock and Longstaff. Is probably the nearest.
Do you know what it is? We're sitting here and say, where does Maddison fit in? And do you know what it is? We'll go back to Bessie and you say you trust the coaching staff, Eddie Howe, the scouts. They'll have a plan. If Maddison is high up on the list, they'll have a plan in regards to how to change teams.
And Felix and Metcha here, apparently Nixon, Howe, and Ashworth have all been together saying, right, he's one number one. He's our number one. He's ours. And I've got no. Why would there be? Again, they aren't just doing it scattergun. They're looking at the squad and that's what we need. That's what we need to improve. Squad, this is first team and beyond for cup matches. Because don't forget, 6 extra games Champions League next season, at least. If we finish third,
you hope for a couple of decent cup runs.
We're in the Europa League. If we finish in the top 2, we're in the So we're going to have likelihood is I'd say at least. Well, let's say those 6 games. Let's not count in chickens. So we're going to get a hard group. We'll be going for the FA Cup. We're going for the League Cup. We'll be playing in the league, and they're not going to be happy. There was loads of chat about West Ham won the Conference League last week about whose season would you rather have. And West Ham did brilliantly. I said to someone, I wouldn't swap with West Ham what we've got with what they did last week. But if you ask a West Ham fan, they wouldn't swap with us either, and that's all right. We've both had a good season. That there doesn't need to be who's better. But that's another conversation. But like, if we finish 15th, 14th, where they finished this season, and won we'll kind of win the Conference League. So, like, hypothetically, let's say the Europa League, they're not going to be happy up there. Like, they're not going to be saying, well, that's what we wanted.
No, definitely.
Gadusi, Staveley, Ruben, they're not going to be going like, oh, well done, Ed, that was a good season. That, they want to be attacking on all fronts. Even I don't think we'll finish in the top 4. We'll do very well to finish top 4 next season again. Because Liverpool are going to be stronger. Probably Chelsea might well be Tottenham to what they do this summer. Like,
we've had that advantage without that run in the European games as well. We've had longer recovery times as well. Doesn't seem we can't do it, but it's going to be tough out there.
We could do it. We could finish top 4, but it's going to be harder.
And that's why investing in the squad is important, but
Yeah.
you know, the two players that we've just mentioned there, there's £50 million between the pair of them.
More than that.
One of them's coming into the
It's each man.
Who was this?
no,
for?
like Madison's been
Madison,
talking 65
Yeah,
million.
that's what I mean,
The other
yeah.
one was looking at around 15 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one, you like you say, you're expecting is going to go there, commanding the first team place. The other one is without doubt going to strengthen your squad, but you're a bit more comfortable at that money that you're investing in numbers as opposed to somebody coming straight in. I think he'd be pushing for a start, like, but again, it's coming at the expense of somebody else missing out, whether that be Longstaff, Joe Linton, or Joe Willock.
But he's come out of the blue as well, and that's the other thing. He's come out of the blue. We've had Luke's article today saying that they're going to be spending. They've got a very strict cap on what they can spend this window, which we kind of know is going to be the case. But what that cap is, he also says in his article that the last 3 windows they've said they had a cap and haven't adhered to it. We know that we're going to be looking at a left back at some point, because as much as I've loved Dan Burn and I like Matt Target, I don't think either of those will be starting left back next season.
They're not your modern day left backs, are they?
I think Target could. I think Target is in a way, but he's not. Listen, I really like Target as well, but in terms of being that next level, he's not that, is he?
I don't think you. I don't
sense?
think he starts ahead of Burn next season.
He needs to stay fit as well for a start.
Yeah,
that's been a big thing.
I do like
this year.
Target,
but
I think like they're talking to Kieran Tierney, but they don't want to pay £30 million for him.
I love him, like, but he's again, he's
again,
injuries
injuries
as well.
Yeah,
I mean, I know not over his career he hasn't,
he's a
but
good player,
of late he's struggled, hasn't he?
But that's the style of left back that you would imagine, right, that you'd want to have, right? I do think it's an area we're going to strengthen. Craig Hope had put something out, didn't he, saying he was saying about 150, right? That we were going to have. That was the limit
budget.
or the budget, 150, which isn't much, like. Do you know what I mean? It's not. If you're going to spend 65 on Madison and then you buy £30 million left back.
Is that including sales though? Like if you get rid of
it probably isn't, but
I don't know who would sell for like more than 10, 15
I know
million,
only Maxi. I think if that was the case and you sacrifice him and you get maybe 25, 30 from Milan, say, abroad, that's just me throwing a name out there. It's going to help, like, I suppose. But
would you be happy with that?
Absolutely not. Because and I'm going to say it again, for £30 million, you couldn't buy what he is.
Yeah, I mean,
there's just no way you could buy what he is.
I think it's got to be more than that to even entertain it.
No, I agree with you. I just don't think. I can't see aside from abroad paying more than that for him. He's not going to go anywhere in this league, I don't think. But I would never sell him for £30 million, because for me, you could not spend that to get someone like him back. So.
I don't think you go anyone higher up the table than us. I could see him going like if
be a sidestep, if that.
Maybe lower, maybe lower.
Maybe like a Wolves or something like that. Or...
Yeah, maybe something like that. But anyway, I hope that doesn't come to it. You know what I mean? I really would not like that.
Craig Hope apparently said it was 75 mil, and I think that's been the number that a few journalists have been saying.
75 million.
Yeah.
So that's Madison and
that's two decent players, isn't it?
Fuck me, that's a worry. Like, that's a worry. Like,
but even I think Darren Eales has came out this week saying, was it this week or last week, around the money and that they've got to be very, very careful. They've got to stick to FFP, and
it's something we'll have to do now. Well, I'm sure we'll have more partnerships named in time. We'll have a training kit sponsor, and there's loads of great space.
Oh, that kit will be getting bigger, like.
There'll be ways of injecting money into them.
We've got to play clever with paying the God, I can't even speak. We've got to be clever with paying the fees as well, because Ashley was always very adamant that he wouldn't pay in installments. He always wanted it up front, and that won't work for us. If we need to spread our spend over a length of time.
But like Bessie said, every time a journalist came out and said, "Oh, Newcastle have only got this much to spend," we've spent both that anyway.
Yeah. Hopefully, it's the club just putting out that information
I say we don't have as much
to get it out there that we don't. Yeah, so that people aren't going to hold with a ransom.
Newcastle.
That's exactly what it is.
There probably is a little bit of that. Like
it does surprise us that Craig Hope would find that information out. Like, if I'm honest, like, do you know what I mean? That type of number just to go, it's that much.
Yeah,
like it's I mean,
specific, isn't it?
You must have a microphone somewhere, and you know what I mean. Like, they understand that to
maybe
get that information.
Still there.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? That's. But I suppose, I mean, obviously, I remember they said we were done and dusted, and then went and signed Isak for 60-odd million.
Scott's just said that. Like, remember Isak? That came out.
Yeah, it did.
Okay, we'll go. There's a £60 million striker for you.
Yeah,
there seemed to be quite good.
Go and do it for Rice. Go and do it for Rice.
Something which we've failed to do for years.
Yeah.
Well, that's because things are going well, and I'll say that I've always said this, about us, right? When things are going well, everything's fine, right? And I'm not having a dig here, but I'm just going to throw a name out there on about. I'll always trust them in terms of who they sign and stuff like that. I do. Just hear us out. But they signed Gordon, right? Who
Yeah.
done out, right? So if things hadn't have turned out so well, I honestly believe journalists and people would have turned to that and go, "Yeah, we spent £40 million on him and he's offered nothing, and we've missed out on Champions League and we haven't done this. We've wasted 40 million on him." But when you're achieving things and your goals have been overachieved, that little thing doesn't get looked at. And I still feel that because everything's running so well, there is no moles, there is no bad news, no one's having a fight in the changing rooms, everyone loves each other, we're fantastic together.
Yeah, it's
mad, that isn't it?
Do you know what I mean?
Bit of bad news, which wasn't really bad news. It was the Gordon thing.
But again, it doesn't. No one cares.
And everybody saw that on camera anyway.
Yeah. That's right. Yes. Yeah. And again, though, Howe came out and put that out straight away.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But I'm telling you, if we hadn't been doing very well, the stories would have been, I feel, not from inside the club. I just mean the journalists and stuff would have made more of that.
100% spin a story to fit a narrative.
Yeah. Because But anyway, I hope we never go back to them days where we'll have this horrible. We used to have it a lot, didn't we? Where even when we thought things were going canny, and it was always something that would come out that would kill.
We've even had it this weekend after Man City winning the treble, like journalists making little puns about, them winning more trophies in the year than we've done.
Oh my God, Foden! I seen the Foden one.
I wanted to touch on that. There was a comment earlier on about our opinion on the way that some journalists from the Athletic are going at the minute, and obviously we're friends with George and Chris and the articles which those two lads put out are great. No, we're not friends with them.
Not journalists anyway.
I saw Taylor on Friday night actually.
Did you?
He's gigging at Wonderbar.
All right.
Yeah.
Any good?
To be fair to him, like he's really good, Taylor, isn't he? He's really good on
never
stage.
tell him, he's class. He's not my cup of tea.
He's not my cup of tea.
Well, I don't really like covers.
All right, okay. What you have in your bed?
I was honestly going to say that.
That hot the minute.
Probably no.
Would you rather he just stood there and sang his own original material?
So what was I saying? It's Athletic, right? Obviously, we're no lads at the Athletic, and they're great. The articles they put out are great. But you're seeing a lot more of the journalists from the Athletic from other parts of the country that are having little digs at the minute. And from that tweet, which we saw where Phil Foden has now won more titles than Newcastle United or whatever it was, cups, trophies, whatever the wording was. There was a lot of replies to that, screenshots of people cancelling the subscriptions
so a few of those,
from the Northeast League.
I was Ollie Alexander. I don't mind him as good. I mean, the stuff for the Athletic. I mean, people having a go at that was one. It's Adam Crafton who's done a lot about the anti-Saudi stuff. But he's a gay journalist, so he's come at it from the LGBTQ angle, which is fair enough because that's a part of the community.
And he's called them out constantly, not just Newcastle.
He's been consistent with. He's written. He's
always been there.
And I think it's right that stuff's highlighted like that.
Of course it is.
The Phil Foden winning more trophies in Newcastle thing.
It's petty. It's petty.
I don't know if it is. I'm not that arsed. Why do you care?
But why would you even mention that?
Would it
what's it got to do with anything?
If George Courtland did that and put, I can't even really give you an analogy this fast, but like came out with something like that about say Chelsea or something, I'll be like, why you put that?
George is a Newcastle writer. Ollie Alexander isn't like tied to a club. He's just a sports. He's a football writer, football journalist. He's not like it's not like someone from Everton.
We've got Ornstein who does exactly the same, who covers Man United all the time, and he's always having digs.
Well, that's him, innit? I don't care.
Like, well, again, I didn't lose sleep over it, but I remember I did scroll and I went, what the fuck? I just found it
ridiculous.
I dare say if he'd won 3 or 4 more trophies, he would have been saying, he's won more than Aston Villa. So what?
I don't think he would.
I think he would have.
Nah.
Yeah.
No chance.
I think he's just used Newcastle because of the Saudi links. I think that's why he's done it.
I don't know if it is. I think it just so happens that we've won that many trophies and he's won one more. I don't read anything.
But you could list every single club. Why else? You could list the whole. I don't know how many clubs there is. Probably 1 million clubs that haven't won that much.
If he's just overtaken us, then what's the point in mentioning like Coventry?
But he might have just overtaken. I don't know how many they've won, but I mean,
they'll not just be us with that number of trophies.
It's impossible, that isn't it?
No.
So you don't think there's another club that's maybe he's just overtaken?
The exact number of trophies as us, I don't think there is.
Oh, I don't know. Like I'm just saying, I thought there might be someone.
I just don't care. I think it's like ridiculous that people are getting so wound up about it.
It doesn't bother me.
No, it doesn't.
Like, I look at it and go,
it's just strange.
It's the amount of stuff that's going to. I've said this before. The amount of stuff that's going to be like thrown at us, like some legitimate stuff. Concerns about. I think that's right. It's right that it's written about. It's not right when you get people who don't care about it using it because then it cheapens the whole thing.
Yeah.
But stuff like that, we've got to be thicker skinned, lads. Because that's like the mildest possible.
Oh God, I understand that. I mean, Christ, I didn't respond to it or comment on it. I just I just looked at it and went,
Yeah,
it's weird, and then just moved on. I mean,
it struck me that's like, oh, that's a little bit of an unusual. But
it's strange, isn't it? It's strange. Well, obviously, we've been with the PGA and the Live getting back together.
Of course, that's
absolutely everything I was reading and listening golf related. Certainly, at the week when I've been away there,
it was
just our name was just in there.
Looking at Man U fans, because they've got the thing with Qatar at the minute, where the Qataris are trying to buy. I think it's Qatar.
That's like Newcastle takeover Mark II, that isn't it? The field one.
I've got Man U fans. I'm looking at I've seen stuff getting retweeted saying, "Oh, there was never a fuss about Man City getting bought and Newcastle getting bought." Well, because they weren't in the middle of that. They don't read much about Newcastle, so they won't know the spotlight that was shone on our takeover and continues to be. In that, as fans, we felt kind of persecuted is not the right word given who it is I bought with, but we kind of felt, oh, hang on, this is a little bit unfair. Why are we getting singled out for this? And Man U fans are going through that now, and it's just because they didn't live through ours, and I suppose Man City had it as well when they were bought. Or continuing the 115 counts of FFP breaches that I saw loads of tweets about that at the weekend.
Oh, I've never
after they won the Champions League.
Yeah.
And like, it's not just us; it's all right. It's just it's the scrutiny that's been held against clubs that we are part of because we've been bought by a nation state. Oh, sorry, I know there was separation discovered at the same time as the TV deal got sorted out.
Piracy got
interesting. Coincidentally, very coincidental.
But like, how that happened with a few hours of each other.
But like the Man U thing is, Man U fans going, "Oh, why us? Why didn't you do this, Newcastle?" And just because they don't realise, and we get as well. Well, why talking about us like that? It's not just us. It's just how people talk. Don't worry about it.
I'm going to end on this one because this is a very quick topic that we can fire through. And do you know what it is? I haven't reacted to this on social media, and I'm not going to tell you the names of this person or podcast, but you'll probably seen it online. But the question is from Joseph Brook that says, what's your thoughts on the podcast saying Eddie Howe should be sacked?
Oh, so yeah, that's just someone that wasn't one of ours. It wasn't a Newcastle.
It wasn't a Newcastle podcast. It was a well-known podcaster, YouTuber. That made a very bizarre prediction about Erling Haaland at the very start of the season.
Oh Christ!
Right, I don't even know his name. I'm not going to respond because in doing so, we're doing exactly what we want to do. So
it's very talk sport, isn't it?
It's all for clickbait, isn't it? It's for clickbait, and that's why I think you actually did respond to one of the tweets on your timeline. I think that's why it showed up on mine.
Really? Yeah. I don't know if I did I?
I haven't seen it.
Maybe I seen it in the WhatsApp group.
I don't even know his name of the person actually.
Oh, it was a WhatsApp group.
It was WhatsApp.
Yeah, somebody put it in, and I think you said the same thing in that as well.
It's all the only reason to do it is to get people talking about it. Stuff.
Do you think they have that? Do you think any of the opinions that they have are true though?
No.
Or do you think they just do it for? Because it's a complete different sort of thing to the reason why I was mentioning. Because it's a complete different sort of thing which we do here, where we'll just talk about Newcastle and be honest with you. Nothing we put out there is for clickbait. You won't see any headlines which we put on video saying, "This is what this Newcastle United player did. This is what happened in the training ground. He has a really angry emoji that I'm just going to put on my thumbnail." Like that sort of thing.
I see them a lot on YouTube.
Emojis on thumbnails. Like when did they become a thing?
Yeah. I think, well, going back to what I think Mark said about TalkSport, I definitely think that's almost stole that label a little bit, hasn't it? Of like when someone just wants to be over dramatic to get the clicks and that. I must admit, I don't even know what podcast that guy's on, but I remember his Haaland crack, obviously, because that just went looped in it all the time and that. But
I was out on the Saturday social or whatever it's called, isn't it?
I mean, it's just nonsense, isn't it? Really, it really is nonsense. Like, you know, I would like to say that we're just, I don't know, we're just honest, we're just chat about the match. Do you know what I mean? We're just, you know what I mean? We're not in it like. I would never sit here and try and be.
When I say with comments like that would be controversial, just for the sake.
What's the point?
When I say comments like that from people now, I just block them on Twitter. I don't even look at anything else on the time. I just go block. Not see that again.
It's just one of those that if you just looked at the situation outside of having any feeling for the club or understanding of what's gone on here in the last 18 months since he's came over, and just looked at it purely black and white to say, if things kind of transpired where, you know, a massive name like a Pochettino or a Mourinho or something like that was available and made it known that they wanted to come to the club now, would it potentially turn their eye to think, oh, well, hang on, that's huge that they want to come here?
You would hope not.
It could, and I'm not saying now, because that's the big thing, but if you want to get to a position where you are pushing, wanting to win Champions Leagues, wanting to win leagues regularly, then if the best manager, the best coach in the world is available. Like if Pep decided to walk away from Man City and said, "Oh, I want to come and start managing Newcastle," I think that he has it certainly prick up at the thought of that.
Well, I think that wasn't the topic.
But it's that kind of that idea, and it's looking at it completely outside of the situation that it's in, and thinking if things didn't work out, how we want them to, there will come a time, hopefully not for a very, very long time.
As well, moving on. I'm taking a sidestep here. Bessie, I'll come to you with this one because you'll get involved. It is from another YouTuber that can be quite controversial, but guess what? Popped its ugly head out again in the last couple of weeks. That apparently Newcastle United are looking at moving their training ground, not to London this time, but to Manchester.
So it was a Man U podcast,
Yes.
wasn't it? I think that's it. That guy.
But was that, because I seen that, but was that not something that I want to say Steve Bruce was talking about or it mentioned or something like that? Yeah,
cheaper flights to Alicante from
Richard Keys said it, didn't he? He said it.
There's definitely been stories of it. And again, somebody who knows absolutely zero about the club has heard this bit of information. There's been that tidbit and thought, oh, well, yeah, I've heard Newcastle want to move down to there to keep the players happier.
Just nonsense.
It is nonsense. We've won 10 major trophies. 11 if you count the UEFA.
Oh, yeah, we can.
We're the only ones. Us and Blackburn, but we've won in a total cup as well.
There you are. So why didn't he mention Blackburn?
Because Blackburn in the Premier League.
That doesn't matter.
What's that got to do anything?
We're the more relevant news story.
It's nonsense.
It's
never
not
won the Premier League. We haven't.
Well, they have, but it was 28 years ago they won the Premier League. It doesn't.
Still, doesn't it?
That's why.
I must admit, I didn't go to that research level. So
I knew I'd see it a few days ago, so I went back through the tweets and found it. So.
Anything else that you want to touch on before we call it a night?
Yes, but I won't.
Oh, we're doing another video. We don't have to do another video. Just do it now.
We could. Well, I was going to mention it before, but then you moved on.
When we were wrist on the microphone stand like that, that's risky for you.
When we were chatting about Sellers, Scott Sellers. What are your thoughts on the imagery and chat that's been going around a fan zone?
Oh, that was comment as well. Sorry for coming that in. That was
it was me.
Question.
I put it in.
Did you see that thing about that high street in Riyadh that had all the?
Yeah, well, that's mad, so they've basically taken all of that advertising and they've basically put it in front of the St James's Metro. In the old car park and mocked up what this fan zone could look like because Sellers are a huge events company. That's their bread and butter. It's been in the press and stuff like that over the last couple of days.
A couple of different versions of it, wasn't there?
Yeah. So when it was announced, basically on you christened it Riyadh's Northumberland Street, there was big. I thought, well,
unbelievable that wasn't it?
Busy all the billboards, the shops, all the digital advertising. It looked unreal. Looked absolutely unreal. So they've taken inspiration from that. The fact that they are a big events company, organise these kinds of things, fan zones. The chat have been around the car park and stuff outside the ground, and mocked up what it could look like. And we. Obviously, when we went down at Wembley, you had the box park just directly outside of it, which again, similar kind of idea, directly outside there with food offerings in there, bar and all of that kind of thing, entertainment.
What's your question?
What's your thoughts on it?
Oh, sorry, I didn't know what the question was. Sorry, right, well, of course. Why not? Of course I would. Why not? Absolutely.
Fan zones, do you know what it is a fan zone? I'm not against them. Do you think they're more aimed at the families?
Well, that's where I'm going with it because,
and I'm not against.
There's no other city that you can go to that's like Newcastle for the amount of pubs that are on your doorstep of that ground.
And it's walking distance.
We've got 100. Yeah. I think there's that stat that always comes out. There's 100 and odd pubs within like a mile or half a mile walking from the ground. Whereas if you're then going to chuck in a fan zone that's designed at something like that, is that going to take fans away from visiting these? Is that going to then?
No, I think that'll bring more.
Do you
know what it is? Let's be honest. When we're going around the pubs, and we normally do on a match day, you don't see that many families in the pubs. You'll see a few, but not that many. And once you're in the ground, you'll see a lot of kids knocking around in St James's Park. I think if you open a fan zone, it'll take off, and I don't think it'll take any sort of business away from the pubs. Not whatsoever.
I think people go to the same places, don't they? I mean, I know the pubs I like to go to before the game. I think people generally do use on OEUs. I'm not going to say where it is because you get stacked and that. Like, but
I'm going to say stop.
We don't get any rough places.
Well, you do. But
To be
good
fair,
rough places.
we change ours quite.
It's always the same place.
I
I'm eating the old. Oh, fair enough. Like,
No,
I think we've never been the old George for
Never
ages.
been old
get
George.
away.
Yeah, we haven't.
You're
Never
in
been.
there now. This is all just.
Never been.
I think having another option can't harm anything. Like,
Nah, of course
to
not.
be honest, and I personally, I've got kids, right? And if I was going to a match with my kids, I would love to be able to go to a place where they could really soak up the atmosphere, but I wouldn't be worried about them. I'm not saying I'd done in because they're kids, but I mean, like, I wouldn't want to take my kids in some of the pubs I go in. No chance. Not a chance. I don't even want to go to the pubs I go in.
My kids be bored out the tits if I took them to the pub. Like,
Yeah,
Aye.
yeah. So if you went there and it's like a fan zone atmosphere, the songs, the tellies are on for them. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Club shop.
I'm not saying fucking have Happy
Monty's
Meals and
bopping around and that.
YouTube on tablets. I'm not saying that, but like, you know what I mean? Like, have a bit of atmosphere. Absolutely no problem whatsoever. It'd be great. Absolutely great.
And again, it's another potential revenue generator for the club, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Because
Sign rice with that money.
it tends to be the likes of Sheeran and the Terrace when it was open was where the people that were taking the kids would go.
I think it's a great idea, personally. Yeah. So really good.
And it seems like they can't build a stand on that land because of what's
Aye.
gone on beneath it with metro stations and whatnot. So yeah, I think it's fine. Like, it would be upsetting if pubs did shut because of it, but it wouldn't.
No, I don't think.
People have been going to the same pubs for.
Yeah.
I don't think I would if there did become a pub, like a bar thing there, but I'd get a club shop involved and.
Callum Lewis has just sent us in the photos of the mock-up, which was done. Thanks, Callum. It looks a lot like how the stack looks.
Yeah, that was my thoughts.
it was.
And again, we are as a city now missing that. I know that they're trying to recreate it behind the Market Shaker and stuff like that. They were on a lesser extent. And that's kind of what the idea of Box Park was as well, wasn't it? With them little individual kitchens and stuff
That's
like
not
that.
what
So
I think of a fan zone, though. I don't think of a stack-esque sort of thing. I think more. Do you know what? This sounds stupid, but do you know like how Soccer M used to have that inflatable thing like off the back and like used to like try and kick it in?
Like kicking it. Well, that's what they do for like when there's
more like a carnival, like a fair. Sort of
that's
stuff.
what they do for the rugby when like the Magic
Yeah,
Weekend
like a
is on
fair.
and stuff like that.
Would that work every week? Or you're playing it at home to like Luton? No disrespect to Luton at all, but
It's a nice weather thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
you turn it in the middle of October and it's chucking down with rain.
Teacups. Everybody's on the teacup and that.
Aye.
Well, I was going to say it has to be indoors, like, because for a long period of your season, you're not going outside, like.
Yeah.
Sorry, like, you're not.
But to be fair, that's like we always say, don't we? That's one thing that Newcastle City Centre is missing is a good outdoor space to go.
Yeah. No, I agree. Anything else? Are we done?
I think we're done.
Yeah, I'm finished.
You finished, are you?
Bring back NE for.
I'm off for next 2 weeks, so.
Oh, yeah.
miss it.
How you going to Glasgow? You haven't mentioned it, mate.
Yeah. Haven't I? No. Go every year, you know.
All right, okay. Thanks, everybody. It's been a pleasure, as always. If you like this sort of video, like this one, first of all, become a subscriber. It costs you absolutely nothing to do so. If you want to give it extra bit back, become a member. It's just $2.99 a month. You'll get early access to videos, bonus content, and access to the Telegram group as well.
It sounds like it's a boneless.
Did you say boneless?
Boneless.
Because I'm starving and then
Boneless
maybe
banquet.
a bonus
I might
banquet.
get a
or
book
something.
on the way back. Like.
I might as well.
Aye.
Do you know what is bonus? That
Go on then.
fish which is sat in the fridge waiting
Oh
for us to
my
do that
God.
challenge. I'll tell you
Oh my
that.
God. I'll be in Glastonbury that week. Whenever that is, I'll be
I'll
away.
do it next week.
Thanks, everybody. See you soon. Oh, actually,
What
before
happens
we
if it
do
goes
that,
off?
there was a question about that. It doesn't go off.
It's already off.
There was a question about the
I know,
fish
that was a joke.
challenge. I need to figure out where we can do this because it has to be outside and what the setup is going to be like.
It's a great big field
I don't
outside.
know why is it all
Wait
shaking the head?
till the fan zone's
we
built.
literally sat here and agreed before.
We didn't agree anything. You decided.
If you
So-
watch a podcast where you mention it, I'll say it on that podcast. I'm
I
not
know
doing
you
it.
do.
I'm not doing
I
it.
know you do. But these two agree. So somebody
Whoa,
find that.
whoa. One person around this table agrees.
No,
Him.
no. I
What?
sat
And I said no.
You said no. You said you would do it.
when
Did
we're
I
trying to
read?
get the
Aye.
members. I sat and I went, are we in agreement? And
I'm
somebody go
telling
back
you.
and see if his head nods.
Nope.
Thanks,
Me
everybody.
and him said no.
See you later. Ta-ra.
Bye.